Meow, it's time to sink our claws into the grim reality unfolding in Gaza. Over 41,900 Palestinian lives lost, 1.9 million souls displaced. This is the stark reality of Gaza today, a catastrophic humanitarian crisis that's spiralling out of control faster than a cat chasing its own tail. Since hostilities erupted on October 7th, 2023, the situation has deteriorated into a full-scale nightmare. Hamas launched their Operation Al-Aqsa Flood, firing over 5,000 rockets into Israel. The Israeli response was swift and devastating, with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declaring an intent to eradicate Hamas. What followed was a relentless barrage of airstrikes and a ground invasion that's left Gaza in ruins. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres didn't mince words when he called this crisis a moral stain on us all. He's not wrong. The numbers are staggering, with approximately 90% of people in northern Gaza eating less than one meal a day. It's a famine in the making, with nearly 16% of children under 2 in northern Gaza acutely malnourished. People are so desperate they're resorting to eating animal feed and weeds. It's enough to make your whiskers curl. The destruction is on a scale that's hard to fathom. Nearly 60% of Gaza's buildings have been damaged or destroyed. We're talking about 227,591 housing units affected. The infrastructure has been shattered, with 68% of the road network impacted. It's as if a giant cat scratched up the entire territory. Now, let's talk about the economic impact. The unemployment rate has skyrocketed to 50%, one of the highest in the world. A staggering 81% of the population is living below the poverty line. It's a crisis that's leaving families unable to afford even the most basic necessities. The international community isn't sitting idly by, but their efforts are being severely hampered. The European Union, UNICEF, and the United Nations Relief and Works Agency are all trying to provide aid, but they're facing a Herculean task. Approximately 83% of the required food aid is being blocked from entering Gaza due to Israeli restrictions. It's like trying to feed a starving cat through a keyhole. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant argues that these military actions are necessary for national security. But when you look at the disproportionate impact on civilians, it's hard not to question the ethics and legality of such operations. The UN has adopted Resolution ES10/21, demanding an immediate and sustained humanitarian truce. But words on paper don't fill empty stomachs or rebuild shattered homes. The situation is dire, but it's crucial that we don't turn a blind eye. As your trusted feline reporter, I'm here to keep you informed about this ongoing crisis. Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on this and other pressing global issues. Your support helps us continue to shed light on these critical situations. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say, the camel in the desert, the Gaza Strip. A narrow piece of land along the eastern coast of the Mediterranean Sea is home to about 2 million residents, 90% of whom are Palestinian. It's a region with a rich cultural heritage, but ongoing conflict and economic challenges have turned it into a pressure cooker of human suffering. The northern part of Gaza, including cities like Gaza City, Jabalia and Beit Hanun, has borne the brunt of the airstrikes. These densely populated areas, once bustling with life, now resemble a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Over 400,000 civilians remain trapped there, caught between evacuation orders and the harsh reality that there's nowhere safe to flee. The healthcare system in Gaza has all but collapsed. The World Health Organization reports that there are no fully functioning hospitals left. Imagine needing urgent medical care and finding that 19 out of 36 hospitals are only partially operational at best. It's a scenario straight out of a horror movie, but for Gazans, it's their daily reality. The blockade imposed by Israel has not only restricted the flow of humanitarian aid, but has also sent market prices for basic essentials through the roof. Families can afford only a fraction of what they need to survive, leading to a rise in malnutrition and related health issues. It's a vicious cycle that's hard to break. Now, I know some of you might be wondering about the other side of the story. The Israeli government maintains that these actions are necessary to dismantle Hamas military capabilities. But when you look at the numbers, when you see the faces of starving children and desperate families, it's hard not to question the proportionality of the response. As we look to the future, the outlook is grim. Without immediate intervention, without a significant shift in approach, we're looking at a humanitarian catastrophe that could destabilize the entire region. The use of advanced military technologies might achieve tactical objectives, but at what cost to human life and dignity? In the midst of this crisis, it's crucial that we, as a global community, don't lose sight of our shared humanity. Whether you're a dog person or a cat person, whether you're pro-Israel or pro-Palestine, we can all agree that the suffering of innocent civilians must end. So, what can we do? We can stay informed, we can donate to reputable aid organisations, and we can use our voices to demand action from our leaders. And of course, you can start by subscribing to this channel to stay updated on this and other critical global issues. Remember, in times of crisis, it's not just about taking sides, it's about standing up for human rights, for dignity, and for the hope of a peaceful future. This is Ron de Parmesan, signing off from Newscats. Stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep your claws sharp for justice. Meow.